Hello everybody, my name is Khatleesi, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. If you're new to the series, I have a playlist dedicated to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles over on my channel, as well as several more series at the moment, including Stardew Valley and Bendy and the Ink Machine. More series to come, so if you do enjoy the content, your like and subscription are greatly appreciated. Now, let's get back into the case. So, we don't have much of this case left. I'm pretty sure we're nearing the end. We brought back these two. Let's just jump right back into it. So, what's this all about? Why have I been called up again? Don't you realize it's dinner time for the little baby idol? When my son's belly is empty, he's fiercer than a pack of wolves. Exploited by the police we were, like miserable dogs, forced to bear false witness. And when cast from this courtroom myself, I became a ruined man in a trice, a worthless, withered antique. Nothing more have I to say. The sun has set on this Rasute shop owner's existence. Be that as it may, Kurikuta-san, something has come to light that requires your clarification. As far as your Rasute memory serves, have you ever seen this? Yes, that's it. The one, the very one. That's the very exact one that it is. The resplendent, splendiferous Hoi treasure that my rusty bones managed to misplace that fateful day. It can't be. Oh, but it can. As I thought. Young man, enlighten this decrepit old fool. Put me out of my misery. Where was my treasure? Where was it dropped? Oh, I'm not sure if it was dropped anywhere. We found your coin sandwiched between a beefsteak and its plate, soaking in the seasoned meat's juices. Sandwich? Soaking? Seriously? Clearly, it couldn't have fallen there by accident, which means somebody must have hidden it there on purpose. Somebody concealed my Hoi treasure between a slab of meat and a metal plate. Who would do such a thing? Such an unconscionable thing. Excuse me? Could I say something? Yes, of course. Proceed, Inspector Hosonaga. I mentioned this earlier on in the trial, but I was working undercover in the restaurant in order to investigate in our case. Yes, that's right. The secret undercover operation. La Carnival is a high-class Western cuisine restaurant. It attracts wealthy diners, including many foreigners. Recently, there's been a run of similarly executed thefts targeting the restaurant's rich clientele. A number of such incidents have been reported to the police bureau. Wicked crimes indeed. We want to nip the case in the bud quickly, especially with so many foreigners being affected. So that's why you were sent in undercover, is it? Yes, I took on the job of waiter at the restaurant in order to flush out the criminal. It seems likely that this Koban incident is the work of the same thief. So, unbeknownst to us, there was a master thief at work in the restaurant on a regular basis. The place was already a scene of several crimes, it seems. I don't know about the master thief part, but the identity of the person who stole and hid Kurikuta-san's koban is all too clear. What? Who is it? I think the court would like to hear the defense's view on this matter. Tell us, who is the despicable scoundrel that stole Kurikuta-san's koban and hid it under the steak? Josiah.
Take that!
Right? Yes, seems like a likely candidate for a koban thief. No, come on, Ryunosuke. Huh? You shocked me, Kazuma. Not as much as you shocked me. No one could have approached the table and noticed. Even if you're a crazy fool, you couldn't have missed that. I'm not sure you should be calling Kurikuta-san a crazy fool, Kazuma. It's you I was calling the crazy fool. Maybe I'm on the wrong track here. Whoa, so Sergeant? I don't believe I can have heard you correctly, Counsel. Let me hear your opinion on this matter again. Tell us, who's the despicable scoundrel that stole Kurikuta-san's koban and hid it under the stake? So now it's either John H. Wilson or this guy. So I'm just gonna have to take a guess and say it's this guy.
Take that!
And hope for the best. Obviously, it can only be you. Sergeant Iesanosa. What? How? How dare you? You monster. So it is him. Monster? I stole that koban, did I? I'm the master thief of La Carnival, am I? You're seriously accusing me of these crimes, cadet? But it wasn't me. It was Ido. Ido's mastermind behind all this. What? Everybody's just as confused. You would push the blame for your crimes onto your own son, an innocent little baby. It's you who's the monster, Sergeant Nosa. You... Clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop. What is this? Whoa. Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Nosa preparing to stand down in the Supreme Court, sir. What? What just happened? Do any of you know of the extraordinarily low wages Nippon Imperial Army pays those it expects to keep our country safe? I understand that the temporary increase in taxation owing to the recently ended conflicts remains in place. And I have heard it's hard for lower-ranking soldiers to make a living, yes. All I want is to put a hot meal on the table for my son. That's why you were stealing things at the restaurant. The place is heaving with money. Every 3 days, I'd go there and do a reconnaissance for a target. And I'd enjoy chomping my way through a good steak at the same time. It sounds like he doesn't bother with a knife and fork even, which is worryingly believable. And your target that day was the old man in his koban. Yes, sir. He was an easy mark. I slipped the coin into my pocket without any trouble at all. A veritable phantom thief you are. I was all set to leave the steak. I was halfway through devouring when it happened. Yes, when the professor was shot. I knew that if the police conducted a search and found the coin in my pocket, I'd be finished. Ido too. So I hid the incriminating evidence as fast as I could, on the double. I slipped it under a steak, hoping that I'd be able to rendezvous with it again at a later date. So to me that could mean one of two things. One, that could mean that he saw who actually shot at John H. Wilson. Or number two, that's his steak that we see here in the courtroom and not the steak of Miss Brett over there. Right? This is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Perhaps you could carry on with this absurd prattling in your own time. I feel like I'm always wrong when I speak up though, so we'll see. Well, Miss Brett. Oh, of course, dear lady, of course. How rude of us. I'm quite sure there's no need to detain you any longer at all. May the esteemed gentlewoman please be executed, not executed, excused, your excellency. Whoops. Indeed. The theft of the koban was clearly perpetrated by this baby-saddled sergeant. It would certainly appear to be unrelated to Dr. Wilson's murder. Of course it is. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat. The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. Nonsense, is it? Well, oof. And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense, it's pure madness. Very well, now that all questions concerning this witness' testimony have been answered, I see no further justification for detaining her. Miss Brett, you are free to leave. Thank you, Your Excellency. Good luck, everyone. And good day. Ryunosuke, what's the matter with you? This is no time for daydreaming. Oh, no, it's just the gears are running. Something about Miss Brett's parting words there got me thinking. I can't quite work out what exactly, but something she just jarred with me. I feel like there was a contradiction there somewhere. Something didn't quite add up. If that's the case, don't just stand there thinking, make your voice heard. Sorry? You can think later, but if you don't call out now, it'll be too late. Trial will be over. This is a close one. Wait, Miss Brett. What is it now? I'm afraid, just one last time, there's something I'd like to ask you. I'd like you to explain the contradiction in your parting words from just a few moments ago. What are you talking about? What contradiction?
Attention!
What new student nonsense is this? Well, what parting words are you talking about, Ryunosuke? Hiding a coin under a lump of meat? The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense, it's pure madness. Yes, I'm right. What she said there exposed an undeniable contradiction. Did it? I'm going to need to see evidence, counsel. I have one last chance. If Miss Brett's words truly are contradictory, where's the evidence to prove it? Is this it? That's gotta be it, right? That photograph there? It's gotta be the photograph with the knife and fork, right? Is this it? Because that's her meal. It doesn't have a knife and fork. It's one or the other, and I have one chance left. Oh no. I'm gonna have to just take a leap of faith. I assume it's a new piece of evidence. Steak? It usually is one of the newer pieces of evidence. Let's just go with it. Please, cross our fingers. Is this it? The steak that Miss Brett had been eating before the professor was killed. Yes, go on. More accurately, Your Excellency. The steak that was on the victim's table just before the professor was killed. Now you're just splitting hairs. Not true. Doesn't something about the steak strike you as very unnatural? Unnatural? What on earth do you mean? The lack of a fork and knife. It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edge where it's been taken. Eaten. Oh. Okay. I see you've noticed it too, Miss Brett. Noticed what exactly, counsel? Just a few moments ago, Miss Brett claimed, no Englishwoman could even contemplate picking up a steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork. Of course she did. She's a refined English gentlewoman herself. Then take a good look at the steak, in particular, the edge where it's been eaten. As you can see, there are clearly defined barbaric teeth marks there. Oh. It looks like Miss Brett has realized something. So, if the witness, as she claims, wouldn't contemplate eating anything without using a knife and fork, there shouldn't be teeth marks in the steak at all.
Attention!
But what is your actual point? Perhaps the delightful Miss Brett was ravenously... Oh, whatever you say, dear lady. As I said, I really must be leaving now. Afternoon tea with the Minister of Justice cannot possibly wait any longer. Of course, of course. This will all be over in the blink of an eye. Rest assured, I'm about to put this rookie in his place. Just leave everything... I've heard enough! You irritating little spectacle samurai relic. Of course. Dear lady! What's the matter, Miss Brett? Have we ruffled your feathers? Clearly, the witness knows what this means. She's realized the catastrophic implications these teeth marks in the stake have for her. Ryunosuke, do you know where you're going with this? Yeah, she switched stakes, right? Yes, now at last, it's all come together. The mysterious teeth marks in a steak that had allegedly been eaten with cutlery. The reason why the bloodstain I know I saw somehow seems to have disappeared. And most importantly, the evidence that proves once and for all who shot Dr. Wilson that day. I accept that these teeth marks in the steak are a little unnatural, as you put it, Counsel. But what exactly are you suggesting that tells us? Everything, Your Excellency. Everything. Yes, I believe that these barbaric teeth marks in the steak here amount to conclusive evidence in this case. Evidence that will prove beyond any doubt who shot Dr. Wilson. Conclusive evidence? How many times have I heard that today? You wouldn't know the meaning of the phrase, typical Japanese empty threats. How can you be so sure? Oh, it's quite simple. If you really had such conclusive evidence, you would have presented it to the court long ago. Actually, the evidence I'm talking about hasn't been brought before the court yet. Hasn't been? What? But just because it hasn't been shown yet, doesn't mean that the evidence does not exist. This is absurd. The trial has run several hours already, and you say there's evidence yet to be brought forward? There can't be. I don't believe you have it. I don't, but there is someone who does have it. Someone in this very courtroom. Who? And if that person is willing to submit the piece of evidence I'm referring to, it will solve every remaining mystery about this case. I don't have to choose this person, do I? Very well. I have a feeling this will be my last request of the defense in this trial. Who possesses the conclusive evidence that will reveal the truth about this whole affair? You've got to be kidding me. There is no way. It's got to be Hosonaga, right? It's got to be. Please, Hosonaga, help me out. You brought everything from the crime scene, right? The answer is obvious. It's Inspector Hosonaga. What? I have it? Yes. You think I've been withholding conclusive evidence? That's ridiculous. Oh, it is him! Oh my god! No, I'm not saying that. Everyone's attention has been focused on the steak with the teeth marks. Yes. Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Nosa told the court the following. I'd enjoyed chomping my way through a good steak. And as well as admitting to stealing Korikuta-san's coin, he told us that he slipped it under the steak. You watch it, cadet. I'm a superior officer. Sergeant Nosa, could you please confirm something for me? Was the steak that you put the coin under, in fact, your own steak? Affirmative, of course. I might be a soldier in the Imperial Nippon Army, but still. I'm not brave enough to ask a foreign gentle lady if she'd mind me manhandling her meal, to hide something in it. In other words, the steak that the detective submitted as evidence earlier was in fact Sergeant Nosa's meal. But that makes no sense. That plate was taken from the victim's table. Yet the gentlewoman doesn't take bites out of her steak, nor did she have any opportunity to steal the coin. Of course I didn't steal it. To suggest such a thing would be an affront to the British Empire. Well then, how do you explain this paradox? Exactly, surely you're not going to suggest that Sergeant switched the two stakes over. I would assume it was Miss Brett who switched them over, right? You did switch the plates? Well, after it happened, oh my god, he did. When I saw the civilian had been murdered right in front of my eyes like that, I panicked. As I said, I immediately lifted my stake and hid the coin underneath it. But then, when the waiter announced he was an undercover policeman, I thought I'd had it. If he decided to investigate my slab of meat, that'd be it. I'd be getting my marching orders. So when the cadet here was arrested and taken off to the kitchen, I seized my chance. With military precision and timing, I switched my stake with the one on the foreign lady's table. What? You can't have. I never saw you do such a thing. It was called Operation Lightning Bolt. There was no time for strategic planning. It was do or die, I tell you, so yes, I did what had to be done. Unbelievable! So now how do we go forward? However, fear not, Prosecutor-san. What now? I swear on the brass buttons on my uniform, that is all I did, sir. All you did? That's plenty, Sergeant.
Yes!
So, if Sergeant knows to switch the plates over, it means he took Miss Brett's steak, and the plate it was on, back to his own table. Yes, that follows. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes. Earlier in this trial, you told the court this. You said that you had not only taken Miss Brett's steak after the incident, but also the sergeant's. Oh, he did. That to preserve evidence, you had taken both. Ah. That's correct. Then please, present it to the court now. This is it. This is it. Come on. The plate that was actually on the victim's table at the precise moment he was shot.
Shut up!
What can that possibly tell us now? I mean, a cold slab of tough meat? It can't have the slightest bearing on the case.
Objection!
It's the blood. No, you're not wriggling your way out of it this time, lady. I beg your pardon? Surely you're not that forgetful. Surely you remember the reason why the steak pan promises to prove such a problem for you, no? You're the ones who decided it was a problem, not me. The reason the defense asked to see that plate was to confirm something the defendant remembers seeing. Tinks he remembers. Well, we'll know now, right? I'm quite sure of what I saw, Miss Brett. On the side of the plate that was on the table directly behind Dr. Wilson, there was a clear splattering of blood from the gunshot wound on the victim's chest. I believe the defendant's memory serves him well. And now we have the evidence to prove it. The plate you were eating from, Miss Brett. Let us not prolong this any further. Inspector, you will show the evidence to the court. Present the beefsteak and plate that was originally on the victim's table at the time of the incident. Yes, sir. Sorry for keeping you. This is it, right? There it is. Here's your steak and its plate. Please, feel free to examine it. But what is this? The blood stain. It's clearly visible, look.
Yes!
Now this makes everything clear. The blood you can see on the side of the plate shows that the moment the victim was shot, he was facing the table with his back to me. In other words, it's impossible for Naruhodo-san to have shot the victim. It can't be. In fact, there's only one person who could possibly have shot Dr. Wilson from the front. I'm sure everyone knows by now who that person is. That's right, Miss Josiah Brett. It's you. Are we finally getting our confession out of her? Outdone by a Japanese, me, by a Japanese schoolboy? No, no, no. I take that as a confession. This is so silly. Yeah. Those little chicks coming out of the hat. No way. Please excuse my little outburst. I briefly lost my composure. Most unbecoming behavior for an English gentlewoman. Forgive me. Well, Miss Brett, I think it's time you told the court what actually happened that day. The truth, this time. Gladly, Your Excellency. Alright, it was I who took the professor's life using Curare. As you surmised, I chose that particular day for one very important reason. The professor had a dental appointment for the extraction of one of his teeth in the morning. So he planned to kill the professor, knowing that no trace of poison would be found in his water, because Curare is unheard of here in Japan. She's smart. Yes, of course, I never intended to remain at the restaurant for as long as I did. I only needed to see the professor take one tiny sip of his water, and it would all be over. I would place the steak I had ordered in front of him to make it appear as though he had been dining alone, and leave immediately. However, before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor at the professor's table. That would be me, I suppose. Yes, you. Who else? Such a trifling matter, but the fact that you decided to come over to greet the professor meant that I had lost my chance to slip away unnoticed. In due course, the professor took a sip of his water and was paralyzed. I made sure he was sitting in his chair, such that he wouldn't fall. There was no going back at that point, so I concocted a plan on the spur of the moment. A plan to pin Dr. Wilson's murder on this innocent man. I happen to know that the professor always carried a gun. I decided to use that fact to my advantage. I had the bottle of Curare in my handbag, and my own pistol concealed under my skirt. Under your skirt? So I was right, there were two guns. Yes. And then I finished my coffee and got up to leave. That's when I noticed the professor's gun, which you had presumably placed on the floor. Placed where you were sure that I would notice it. And everything went according to plan. You noticed the gun as I'd intended. And then, just as you bent down to pick it up, the shot rang out. That's when you shot the professor with your own gun, even though at that point he was already dead. Naturally, the gunshot caused a commotion, at which point the waiter appeared. Obviously, I assumed Naruhodo-san was a culprit and apprehended him. I took him to the pantry that adjoins the kitchen and locked him inside. That's when I took the opportunity to turn the professor in his chair around. Because, of course, needed to make it look like the defendant had shot Dr. Wilson from where he picked up the gun. So there you have it. That is the entirety of my misdemeanor. Your Excellency. Yes? I wonder, could I still leave for my appointment for my lunch? Might I speak with you in private later? I shall call on you. Thank you. Good day then, everyone. Why is she leaving? I hope you can forgive me, Naruhodo-san. You're letting her leave? Seriously? It would seem this trial has finally run its course. I presume the prosecution is in agreement. This can't be. Taketsuchi Ochi does not lose. Not to the likes of this rookie student. You'd better start getting used to tough opposition. Ryunosuke Naruhodo. What, yes? This insult to the Ochi family name will never be forgotten. You've become conceited with age, Council, but the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that. Really? A 1,000 millennia may pass, and still, the Ochi clan will never measure up to the Naruhodo clan. This trial in the Supreme Court of Japan will, I believe, go down in history as the start of a new chapter in our country's judicial system. Despite being summoned as the accused, you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, presented an excellent case. I thank you, Your Excellency. The use of evidence and induction to unravel a truth is a modern methodology. After all, it has only been a few short decades since our country opened its doors to the wider world. But the Western ideas of science are rapidly gaining acceptance here. I feel sure that science will soon bring new methods of investigation and new procedures of justice. A new future of law awaits, and what it will look like, I cannot begin to imagine. That is for the young to pursue. Kazuma Asaji. Yes. After his trial, you are set to embark on a journey of discovery to the illustrious British Empire. Learn all you can, absorb everything of the wider world that you are able to. And do not forget to fulfill the mission imposed upon you. I understand, Your Excellency. What was that about? Why do you look so grave all of a sudden? Ah, never mind. As for you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Oh, yes. In you, I sense, how can I put it, unusual potential. I very much look forward to seeing you, how you carried that onwards. Thank you, Your Excellency. It is time to deliver the final verdict. I hereby find the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, not guilty. We did it! I really thought that things were going to go downhill, that I wasn't going to do this when I only had one life left at the very end there for 2 or 3 of my final choices, but we did it. This court is now adjourned. There we go. 22nd of November, 2:46 p.m. Supreme Court of Judicature. Defendant's Antechamber. I can't believe it. I can't believe what's happened. I made it. I defended myself and made it through that horrendous trial. Ryunosuke, you finally pulled it off. Congratulations. Well, I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Kazuma. Ha 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 ha. No, it was a pleasure to watch you at work. So, you owe me an extra large sukiyaki from the place on Yume University Street. Don't forget. Good afternoon. All your hard work has certainly paid off. Congratulations, both of you, for proving Naruhodo-san's innocence. Ah, our trusty judicial assistant. You worked hard for that result too, you know. Oh no, I didn't do anything. Thank you so much. If we hadn't had that research report of Miss Brett's, I don't know how things would have turned out. Your kind words should really be for my father. I was simply doing as he asked. It was his idea for me to go to the university and investigate. Your father? Ah, yes, of course. Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense. Speaking of Mikotoba... Ah, there you are. I believe congratulations are in order. Here he is. Naruhodo, you did an excellent job. Thank you, Professor. Oh no, it is I who should be thanking you, after all. Your efforts exposed a true criminal that took the life of my good friend. Good friend? Oh, yes, you mentioned that before. It was you who actually invited Dr. Wilson to Yume University, wasn't it? Yes, that's right. Professor Mikotoba studied overseas himself. He went to study forensic medicine in Great Britain. Presumably, that's when you met Dr. Wilson. Exactly. In those days, we worked together in the same hospital. Oh, you worked together? I've never heard you mention that before. Well, it was a long time ago now. Besides... It's your turn, Asaji. Great Britain is a magnificent country. It leads the world. In science, medicine, engineering, culture, and of course, in law. Watch and learn, my boy. See what's happening in the world's largest melting pot. I will. I'll learn all that I can. I swear on this, the spirit of the Asaji clan. You're not taking that sword to Great Britain, are you? Of course I am. A Japanese man's katana is his soul. This blade shows me where I need to go. It cuts down anything that's in my way. Yes, I've definitely seen how sharp it is already with my own eyes. That reminds me, what's happened to the woman? Digicide Brett, I mean. After all, she's guilty of murder. Yeah, that's what I was wondering too. Ah, yes, her. It's not easy to tell you this, but... What do you mean? Surely she's going to face trial herself now. She's a true culprit after all. She will be leaving Japan in the very near future. For Shanghai. What? Shanghai? Josiah Brett will not appear in court again in this country. I'm certain of that. What? But why not? It's a matter of consular jurisdiction. Inspector Hosonaga. It was a hard-fought battle in the courtroom today. Very impressive to watch. I must congratulate... But what's all this about consular jurisdiction? We cannot try this particular foreigner for her crimes here in Japan. What? We can't try her. But then, who? Who's going to bring her to justice? A British consular court will hear her case somewhere far away, where our voices can't be heard. But why a consular court? Professor, I simply don't understand. I thought consular courts were a thing of the past now that we've signed a friendship treaty. Yes, in normal circumstances, you're right. Then, so long as this is not a serious incident of a highly political nature to our respective governments, they can't invoke a consular court just like that. Oh, can't they? Yes, she's a student, but it doesn't justify our governments making secret agreements about her fate, does it? Something strange is going on. So Miss Brett can't be held accountable for her actions here in Japan. I'm afraid that for the young student, today's trial was nothing more than a game all along. There was never any danger of comeuppance for her. I don't believe it. The British government's Foreign Affairs Ministry has demanded that we hand over custody of Miss Brett. They're obviously taking this case of a foreign student committing murder very seriously. But it's all going to change from now on. We can make it change. This time of great turmoil, this new era, heralded by the start of the 20th century. One day, I have no doubt, that woman will receive the judgment she deserves. Yes, change is coming, and we're the ones driving it. Well, I think that's enough seriousness for now. This evening calls for a celebratory drink. But Professor, you're right, there's no time for gloomy faces. We should be celebrating Ryunosuke's not guilty verdict. Let's start having some fun. In that case, might I suggest La Carnival? As the head waiter, I should be delighted to provide you with ample food and drink. You're a detective, Hosonaga-san, aren't you? Well, let's not worry about details for now. To La Carnival, will you accompany us, Professor? Of course, La Carnival's food is second to none. I shall go and attend to the paperwork for Naruhodo-san's release. Oh, yes, thank you. What a great ending. So Josiah Brett won't be tried here. Never mind. I take back what I just said. I suppose that means I'll never know. I'll never find out why she killed Dr. Wilson. Kazuma. Yes, Ryunosuke? I just want to say thanks again. That's all. You've really saved my skin today. I didn't do a thing. You were the lawyer in there, weren't you? That defense was all your own work. Your skills made a difference, though. One day, I bet you'll be the best lawyer in the world. I'm not so sure about that. To be honest, something kept occurring to me over and over again during that trial. I can't help thinking that maybe you're the one that's going to become a greater lawyer, not me. What? Come on, be serious. If I helped you today, it was only right at the very start of the trial. But you have a natural talent for it. For being a defense lawyer, I mean. Oh no, not me. All that tense verbal combat, I never want to go through that ever again. I did what you told me to do, that's all. Because I knew I could trust you. That's the point. Sorry? What do you mean, that's the point? Listen, Ryunosuke. Do you know what the most crucial weapon is that any lawyer needs in order to win? Knowledge of the law? No, the ability to believe. To believe? To believe what? A defense lawyer has to fight for his clients. He has to believe in them at all times. Like you believed in me when I said I didn't do it. This is crazy because I actually watched this video. It was only a couple minutes long, but it was this defense lawyer, an actual one on YouTube, who was saying exactly this, that the most important part is that you believe your client, because whether they're right or wrong, you don't know that, and you just have to believe them and fight as best as you can, whether guilty or not. So that's just crazy to see Kazuma saying that now. Like, crazy deja vu for me. I'm human, just like you. I don't have some superhuman ability to know the truth. But you have to make a choice about what to believe in and stick to it when you're defending someone. Sometimes in a courtroom, you can really be backed into a corner. But being able to remain faithful to what you choose to believe in, even then, well, that's not something that anyone can do. It takes a special kind of person. Believing in your client. Just look at today's trial. I'm a student lawyer with precious little real experience, but you never stop believing in me. Well, you face seemingly hopeless situations time and again, but you never stop looking for the truth. And in the end, you found it, through your own efforts, and because you never stopped believing in me. Thanks, Kazuma. There's something I want to ask you, actually, Ryunosuke. Well, it's a favor, really. Something very important to me. It sounds serious. What is... Ah, you're still here, are you? Oh, Inspector Hosonaga. I've arranged some rickshaws for us. Let's go. Thank you, we'll be right there. Let's pick up this conversation again later. We should be celebrating right now. Your first court victory, and your study tour to Great Britain, don't forget. Ah, yes, that too. Is this the end? So my very first trial came to an end. Kazuma. Professor Mikotola. Susato-san, who acted as my assistant. Inspector Hosonaga, who didn't really play much of a part, but still. His reaction. It was because of the help and support of all these people that I managed to get through that trial. I would say Inspector Hosonaga did play a very important part, because most of these Japanese court people and inspectors seem to be too afraid of Great Britain to actually hold one of their people accountable for murder, and preferred to just hold Ryunosuke accountable. But Professor Hosonaga, or Inspector Hosonaga, sorry, really just want to bring whoever actually murdered Dr. Wilson to justice. And that's really cool. I really do like Inspector Hosonaga for that. But more importantly, Kazuma hadn't yet managed to ask his favor of me. Little did I realize just how much it would change my life. And I like to think that the favor that Kazuma asked Ryunosuke, defense debut awarded, nice. Yeah, I like to think that that favor might be to come to Great Britain with him, to accompany him. I think that that would be a really nice end to that story. Wow, that was a lot of fun. So let's save this game. I assume this is the end, but let's get back to the title screen to make sure that this is the end. Episode 2. Episode 1. That's the end. Awesome. Return to title screen. Let's do it. Boy, this was a journey, wasn't it? I'm so glad I was able to go through this on YouTube. It was a blast, really. Anyway, thanks so much for watching the end of the first episode, as Ace Attorney calls it. It's maybe 7 episodes in for us on YouTube. But the first case, basically, of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Yep, thanks so much for watching. Please leave a like if you've enjoyed the episode, and subscribe if you would like to see more of my content. I believe I will be taking a small break from this series. Maybe we'll just end another game and then come back to it soon, within a month or so. I just want to be able to move around and try some new games, right, for the channel before we come back to this. But from my knowledge, there are about 7 different cases in this game, so we'll definitely be finishing each and every one of those on YouTube. Do not worry about that. We'll be back for more. I wish you all a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Peace.